Legendary commander sculptures in Rise of Kingdoms are one of the most important items to get your hands on. The problem is that they're actually quite rare and they have a huge impact on the progression of your account and whether or not you can be competitive in the end game. So today I'm going to give you guys over 30 different ways to get legendary commander sculptures in Rise of Kingdoms, and if you do all of these events you can get between 120 and 220 legendary commander sculptures every single month. Now that's an average. Sometimes it'll be more, sometimes it'll be less. As long as you're active in the game and doing all these events, it should be a little bit easier to save up for your next legendary commander. But before we jump in, of course, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Anyway, with that being said, let's jump into this is like the most important thing, and this should go without saying, the VIP system. This is your most important, let me be very clear, this is your most important source of legendary commander sculptures in all of Rise of Kingdoms. Why is that? At VIP 10 you get one legendary commander sculpture every single day. All you got to do is log in and you are guaranteed 30 legendary commander sculptures every single month. And then of course, once you hit VIP 12, it doubles the amount of legendary commander sculptures you get from the system to 2, and if you can get to VIP 14, that will increase it once again to 3. So 3 legendary commander sculptures every single day is 90 legendary commander sculptures every single month. This is an extremely important milestone to reach in the VIP system, because the beauty of the legendary commander sculpture is that it's universal. You can literally use it on any commander that's in the game right now, or you can save it for 6-9 months and use it on a legendary commander that's not even in the game yet. Now of course, increasing your VIP level requires VIP points, and you can get them in a variety of different ways. Of course, it would be best to be in an alliance that has a lot of rare chests coming through. You could also spend yourself if you wanted to do that, or you can use gems. You can spend your gems here to increase your VIP level. Now there's a very important trick with this that we're going to talk about later in the video, so don't go ahead and spending your gems just yet, because you can get way more value and legendary commander sculptures by being a little bit patient. So stay tuned. But with that being said, let's move on to the next way that you can get a steady stream of legendary commander sculptures coming into your account at any given time, and that is the Ark of Osiris event. As you guys know, the Ark of Osiris event comes around every other weekend, and it comes in 2 forms. There's the golden battlefield and the silver battlefield. If you participate in the golden battlefield and your alliance ends up winning and you have over 10,000 individual points, you're going to get your hands on 10 legendary commander sculptures every other weekend, which is really nice. If you end up losing but you still get those 10,000 points, then you'll get 5 legendary commander sculptures. So anywhere between 10 and 20 legendary commander sculptures every single month, which is quite good. Now if you are in the silver battlefield, whether you win or lose, you're going to get 5 legendary commander sculptures. So again, 10 sculptures every single month. You only need 8,000 points, and here's a nice little source of VIP points as well, which is pretty cool. Not as good as gems, but it's something. The next event we have to talk about here is the Korok ceremony. Now this event is a 50 stage event that comes around, I believe, once every month approximately, and if you can complete this event all 50 stages on the highest difficulty, then you're going to get your hands on not only 12 legendary commander sculptures from completing the event, but defeating the level 50th Korok ceremony barbarian will get you a single legendary commander sculpture, with a grand total of 13 legendary commander sculptures guaranteed from the Korok ceremony every single month on average. For those of you wondering, the last time that we got the Korok ceremony here in Rise of Kingdoms at the time of recording this was on March 14th 2025, and I was a good boy. I did get my 12 sculptures here. Okay, so I know it's a grind, but you got to do it. You also get some gems here, some speed ups. This is one of the best events for the economy of your account that I can remember. And that's not where the goodies end here, because there's also an alliance component of the Korok ceremony, wherein your entire alliance can set a time and you gather all together to defeat some more Korok barbarians that are spawned in by the alliance. And as long as you participate in the alliance portion of this event, you have a chance of getting 1 legendary commander sculpture from each of the different bosses, at least the last time I remember. And so if you're lucky, you can get even more than 13 legendary commander sculptures as long as you're online to participate in the alliance portion of this event. The next event we have to talk about that is beloved by players of Rise of Kingdoms is what the players call the 7k gems event, and as you can see here on the screen, we most recently got it between March 15th and March 22nd 2025, and this event comes around a few times every year. It used to be a little bit more frequent, but the developers have implemented some other seasonal variations that honestly I would say aren't as good as this event, so when this one does come around, it is quite the treat. And the reason for that is because you can get 35 legendary commander sculptures for 7,000 gems. That's why they call it the 7k gem event. This second track right here, this double reward column, this costs 7,000 gems, and as you can see right here, you actually get gems back when you complete these different levels. But the best strategy to do this event is actually to complete all 25 levels. If you can get to level 25, then you know that you are guaranteed the maximum rewards, and then you can go ahead and spend the 7,000 gems and immediately claim all of the rewards in the 7k gem track. And in fact, if you look at all the gems that you get from the 7k unlock and all the gems that are in the free portion of the event, you actually get 7,000 gems back. So you literally break even. All these rewards are free as long as you have the 7,000 gems upfront payment and you're able to grind enough to complete this event. Not to mention, you're going to get a lot of gems, speed ups, resources from all the barbarians you're going to be grinding anyway, and the fact that we have higher level barbarians in the home kingdom now at the time of recording this makes it even more valuable. Now you can complete this event without grinding barbarians. There's ways that you can collect resources in your city and farm handfuls of resources here and there, and I'm not going to go into a full guide on how to maximize your completion of this event, but just know the value is insane. Now I would say on average we probably get the 7k gems event 4 times a year, something like that, so it's not super common, but it is absolutely one of the best times to spend your AP in Rise of Kingdoms if you do decide to grind it the barbarian way. So make sure you have AP and gems on your account when this event comes around. Moving on to our next way to get your hands on legendary commander sculptures, there are other variations of holiday events. For example, this is the Thanksgiving event. There's a couple of different ones, and as you can see here, there are free items that you can get. This comes in the form, at least for this event, it comes in the form of slices of pie, it looks like, and then there's also a more premium item that you can get your hands on. This looks like turkey legs. Okay, and the way that you get your slices of pie is you exchange forks, and you get the forks from grinding barbarians and all sorts of other ways. So basically these ones you get for free from grinding, these ones you typically get a handful from the event, but not enough to really make the difference. And the reason that this event is a way to get legendary commander sculptures is because you can trade in a combination of the premium event items and the free to play grinded items for a legendary commander sculpture. Now if I remember correctly, and unfortunately I don't have a screenshot, but I believe you can get up to 30 of these legendary commander sculptures from this event, and each legendary commander sculpture will cost 20 of whatever the premium item is. So in this example, this is the most recent one. I don't remember the exact name of this specific item, but it looks like some sort of coin pouch or purse. Again, for the Thanksgiving event it was turkey legs, but you would need 20 of the more premium item and 25 of the more easy to obtain item for one legendary commander sculpture. And at 50 gems a piece, that means that each legendary commander sculpture is 1,000 gems plus a little bit of a grind for the more free items. So it's not the best value in the game, 1,000 gems per legendary commander sculpture, but it certainly isn't the worst value either, especially considering that the VIP shop puts the legendary commander sculpture at a 2,000 gem cost. So it's 50% off the VIP shop. There's better value out there, sure, but if you're going to be able to be online and grind these types of events for whatever different holidays they may show up for, then this is definitely a good place where you can get your hands on a couple of legendary commander sculptures if you've got the gems to spend here. Now the next way that you can get your hands on some legendary commander sculptures is from an event that's called More Than Gems. This is another one of those events that is super popular in the community because it's just free value for gems that you might be spending anyway. Now remember earlier when I said don't go ahead and rush in your VIP willy-nilly, that's because you want to wait for this event to come around. The reason for that is because the way that the More Than Gems event works is that it is a 2-day event. The rewards reset every single day, day. And so as you can see here, the most valuable rewards start at the 7,000 gems spend tier. If you spend 7,000 gems in a single day during the More Than Gems event, you will get 5 legendary commander sculptures and a few other nice little goodies here. If you spend 25,000 gems in a single day, you will get 8 legendary commander sculptures as well. That is a total of 13 legendary commander sculptures for 25,000 gems, and you can do that twice. So for 50,000 gems you get 26 legendary commander sculptures, which isn't great value on its own, but you have to remember that you get these by spending gems on whatever you want, and that includes the VIP system. So if you were going to speed up your progress on VIP, then you want to do it during the More Than Gems event, because at least then you get something out of it. If I spend a little bit of gems here, I just don't get anything until I reach that next level. But if I do it during More Than Gems, at least I get something right then and there for it. And even if you've already made progress on VIP and you don't feel like it necessarily makes sense anymore, you still can spend your gems on other things, like in the VIP shop. For example, some players only ever fight with a 24-hour defense token that gives you a 10% boost. You might want to stockpile up on a couple of these during More Than Gems. Or I mean, if you're not even City Hall level 25, this event works even better for you, because you're going to need some Masters blueprints to get your tier 5 units anyway. And so at 2,000 gems a piece, you might as well buy these during More Than Gems and save them for when you need them later. Just make sure you don't buy more than you need, because otherwise these are literally useless. It's also a good time to buy some Books of the Covenant if you're too lazy to grind those forts. But there's just, my point is, there's so many different things that cost gems that you can buy during the More Than Gems event, and you can get a little bit of extra value there in the form of legendary commander sculptures. Now for me personally, what I tend to do during these events is, unless there's some crazy overlap here with some other high value event, usually what I'll do is I'll try to spend 7,000 gems on the first day and 7,000 gems on the second day. It's 14,000 gems for 10 legendary commander sculptures. That alone is pretty good value, and then I'll get whatever I'm buying with the gems on top of that. So that's typically my strategy now. But again, if you're a player rushing VIP, you need Masters blueprints or whatever, it's not that hard to drop 25,000 gems, at least on a single day. But just be careful. It's better to do 14,000 gems across 2 days, 7,000 and 7,000, than it is to do 25,000 in one day, right? 14,000 gems for 10 sculptures is 1,400 gems per sculpture, whereas 25,000 gems for 13 sculptures here, that's like 1,900 gems per sculpture. So keep that in mind. Okay, so if you've made it this far into the video, then you know that this is a pretty long video, but hopefully you're getting some value here. And if you are, consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing down below. It's really going to help out the channel a ton. The next event we're going to talk about here is another way to get just a couple of legendary commander sculptures, and that is none other than the Melon Market event. Now this event is relatively new. I think we've only seen it, this might be the second or third time that it's ever showed up in Rise of Kingdoms, but basically you get these melons in a variety of different ways. There are city collection ways, and there are also some daily quests here. I have been a bad boy. I have not farm today because I'm teleported near the altar in KVK and there's no close nodes, and I'm just lazy. I've been busy today. Leave me alone. The point is, you can get these melons in a variety of different ways. You can steal them from your allies as well, and if you come into the shop, you'll see that on the second tier of upgrades or rewards, you can get 1 legendary commander sculpture, and on the third tier there is another legendary commander sculpture. So all in all, you can get 2 legendary commander sculptures from this event. I know it's not a ton, okay, it's not a ton, but you can do it free to play. I haven't spent any amount of gems, any amount of money on this event at all, and I got 2 sculptures for free, plus you get other really good goodies here as well that you're definitely going to want on your account. So definitely a very fun event, an event that a lot of players love. It's great to be able to steal from your allies as well. And a little pro tip, if your kingdom has a farm alliance or many farm alliances or shell alliances, then you can pop out of your main alliance, jump into a farm alliance, and go around and claim some of the, or I should say steal some of the melons from your allies farms that are offline, because there's a good chance you're going to be able to steal more melons from an offline account who hasn't claimed theirs than somebody from your main alliance. And also, you don't want to necessarily steal melons from your main alliance friends, because they're going to need their melons for their shop as well. The next event we're going to talk about is the Fisherman's Fortune event, and this is also another event that is relatively new. I would say this event's only come around maybe half a dozen times so far in Rise of Kingdoms history, but as you can see, there are ways to get legendary commander sculptures, and in fact there's actually only a single legendary commander sculpture here every time the event comes around, but this video is a guide on how to get legendary commander sculptures, and here you go. This is another way that every time this event comes around, you know that you can get at least one legendary commander sculpture. And hey, every sculpture adds up, trust me. If you're a free-to-play player, then you know that's the case. Okay, you want to get every single one sculpture here, two sculptures there, every one matters. Okay, that one sculpture could be the difference between having the expertise on a commander and not the next time you go into KVK, so never brush that off. Now the way this event works is pretty simple. You're going to get bait by doing a bunch of different things that you're already going to be doing in Rise of Kingdoms, like killing barbarians, and then you can select a fishing spot. And what's important about selecting a fishing spot is that you want to make sure that you select a fishing spot that still has the golden fish available. I don't know the exact name of this fish, but this is basically the prize fish reward here. Okay, and as you can see, you can use this reward on a few different things. You can either get a formation choice chest or a material chest, but you can also get a legendary commander sculpture here. So make sure when you're actually spending that bait, I would recommend that you actually accumulate all the bait that you can throughout the event and then spend it all down on a single fishing spot. And even better, if you can find a fishing spot that has already been partially fished but the highest reward has not been obtained yet. Just make sure no one swoops in and steals that high prize fish right out from under you. Or maybe you could be that guy. If you only have a couple of bait left, you could try to scum somebody out of their own legendary fish. Now this next method for getting legendary commander sculptures is exclusive to those of you who quit Rise of Kingdoms 30, 60, 90, 365 days ago, and so pay attention if that's you. But that is going to come in the form of the welcome back returnee shop. Okay, now basically this event comes around if your character has been off the map for a certain amount of time. I believe it's over 30 days. You have to not log in, you come back to the game, and you're able to complete a bunch of these returnee quests. And it's really simple stuff like killing barbarians, right? Join an alliance, really basic stuff here. Okay, and you're gonna get a bunch of these returnee rupees. Okay, and these rupees, again, pretty easy to get. You're gonna come in here, and every single day, if you log in for every day of 5 days, you can get at least one legendary commander sculpture, and then on the last day you can get 5 legendary commander sculptures. So you can get a total of 9 legendary commander sculptures 100% free. Honestly, super easy. I mean, I know you have to spend some rupees to unlock the next level, but like, again, I can't stress this enough. It's so easy to get these rupees that you're basically guaranteed to get 9 legendary commander sculptures every time that you return to the game. The next event we're going to talk about here is a little different than the others that we've discussed, but this is the Heart's Desire event. Now this event comes around when you're in KVK, and the game lets you pick 5 different legendary commanders, and if you spend your sovereign keys here, every 10 keys that you spend, you are guaranteed either a sculpture of or a summon of one of your 5 picked commanders, and you can change these commanders at any point in the event. And so while this isn't really a way to get universal legendary commander sculptures, it is a way to sort of increase your chances of getting a commander sculpture for a commander that you really want to get more sculptures of. So keep that in mind. The next event we're going to talk about is a very rare event called War of the Ruins. Now honestly, I feel like this event comes around maybe once or twice a year. It's very rare, and I think it's because it's also not super popular. However, this is a way that you can get, I believe, 2 legendary commander sculptures. At most it's 4, but I'm almost positive that you get 2 legendary commander sculptures from this event every time it comes around. If you guys don't remember this event, this is the event where you basically spawn on the map with 10,000 units, and you can run around and either recruit sort of the NPC armies that are on the map, or you can defeat an enemy to recruit those units into your army, and then the last man standing wins. And usually as the map goes on, it's almost like a battle royale where the fog is kind of closing in, and it forces the combatants into a smaller and smaller area, and the games are actually usually pretty quick. March speed is king here, by the way, unless they ever change this event. But again, I just wanted to throw this in here. It's a couple of sculptures, so make sure if you see it, play it, get those sculptures, and then you're good. The next event we're going to talk about is Champions of Olympia. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can get your hands on sculptures in Champions of Olympia. The first way we're going to talk about is the season challenges. As you can see here, the 2025 season starts in February and ends in April of 2025, and if you participate in team ranked mode, then you can accumulate stars, and as long as you get minimum 54 stars, you're going to be able to collect all of these different chests here, and each one one of these chests has a legendary commander sculpture, so that is 5 legendary commander sculptures for participating in ranked mode. But there's also weekly quests, and you can fight in any mode here, but if you fight in team ranked mode, you actually get double the activity points, and every single week that you play in this, you can get 2 legendary commander sculptures. Finally, there are the season 20 rewards, which technically these aren't legendary commander sculptures, but that's a lot of gems and a lot of sovereign keys. Now I know champion rank 1 is like crazy, right? So it's going to be really hard for you to win these at the highest ranking, but I did want to at least throw this in there. If you are a Giga Chad and you are able to perform super well during the season, then you can get a bunch of gems and a bunch of keys, and you can use those keys for things like the Heart's Desire event that we just talked about, or the legendary tavern if you prefer that. The next event we're going to talk about is called Tempest Clash. Now I grabbed this screenshot off the internet. As you can see, I don't know who these people are in this screenshot, so shout out to you if you're watching and you're in the screenshot. But this is another one of those events, just like the War of the Ruins, that comes around with holiday events, but I feel like I only see this like once a year. Again, I feel like this event is just not that popular. I think it has something to do with the fact that it's like a really basic like face roll rock paper scissors game that's just like, I don't know, it's very simple, but it's also kind of annoying in my opinion. That's just my opinion anyway. Okay, my point is it's a very rare event, but it comes around maybe once a year, maybe twice possibly, and I think you get about 2 legendary commander sculptures from this event every time it comes around. It's a very small number of sculptures, so we're not really missing out on much by this being a rare event, but I wanted to at least throw it in here. If you see this event pop up, it's the one where you crash your ships against the others. Okay, if you see this event, give it a try, get those wins. I think you get like, if you get a certain number of wins, you get a sculpture, and you can do that maybe two times or something. I don't know, but again, small number of sculptures, very rare event. Keep your eyes peeled. This next event is a little bit different from the other ones in that the arms training Lohar event will reward you with legendary commander sculptures if you rank high enough during the event. So if you guys don't remember this event, this comes around a couple of times a year, and effectively you fight up against a single Lohar that gets stronger and stronger as you choose the different skills that Lohar gets. If you're able to get maximum rank here, according to rock.guide, rank 1 gets you 20 sculptures, rank 2 is 15 sculptures, rank 3 is 10, and top 10 is at least 8 sculptures. I don't believe that this has changed, but you can correct me if you know in the comment section below. I haven't done this event the last few times that it's come around because I'm just not that invested in trying to compete for the top 10, because my kingdom is actually insane and some of the players in this kingdom are actual Giga Chads, and so usually my chances of getting top 10 are pretty low anyway, so I don't even try. But this is for sure a way that you can try to get your hands on some more legendary commander sculptures. This next event is called Protect the Supplies. Now this event is interesting because it's actually changed over the years. As you can see, this is a little bit of an older screenshot. However, this event gives you sculptures in a couple of different ways. First of all, as you can see here, there's some unique items, and one of these items is a premium item that we've talked about in previous events that typically costs 50 gems a piece. So doing the Protect the Supplies event will get you some of those premium items, so you don't have to spend gems on them. So in that way, this is an indirect way to get your hands on some legendary commander sculptures. But on top of that, there's also a ranking system, and if you can come in the top ranks here, as you can see, there are a couple of different legendary commander sculpture rewards. Now if you go below rank 10, it starts to be an epic commander thing. So top 10, you get 8 sculptures, just like we talked about before with the arms training Lohar. Number 1 gets you the 20 legendary commander sculptures. So this is another one of those events where you can try to compete with your kingdom and see who can do the best. This next event is called Desert Tracks. Now this event I feel like only comes around for the anniversary event of Rise of Kingdoms. Now you can correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I think we've only had this event 2 or 3 times in the entirety of my Rise of Kingdoms career here. But basically the way this event works is that you get your hands on some of these dice, and you roll the dice and you get a certain number of spaces to move, and as far as I remember, it's every 20 spaces you get a commander choice chest, and in this commander choice chest is, as you might imagine, legendary commander sculptures for a commander that you choose. And so this is a way that you can get your hands on some legendary commander sculptures as well. This is again a pretty rare event, and I don't remember how many dice you can actually get as free to play. I remember there's a bundle for this as well, which I did end up buying, satisfying, but I did want to at least mention this here so that way you guys are ready for it when it does come around. Now this next event is kind of a 3-in-1. there are 3 different events, but they all kind of function the same, and these events come around every once in a while. I don't know if it's once a month, it may be more or less frequent than that, but that is Lord of War, Now or Never, and Game of Power. Now these events I believe all have functionally the same structure, and I think Lord of War is more about training troops, Game of Power is more about literally just gaining your power in any way that you can rather than just training, and I think Now or Never has to do with like amount of speed ups that you use. I can't remember exactly, but functionally they're all pretty much the same at endgame in that you're just training T5 units, and the way that you get your legendary commander sculptures here is from the top 100 governors. Now of course, you know, there's probably going to be a pretty big paid player who will claim rank 1 every time this comes around. I think some kingdoms might even organize these events as well, but even if you're a free-to-play player, when these events come around, it is possible to get your hands on a couple of legendary commander sculptures, sometimes completely by accident. Most recently, the Game of Power event ended on March 22nd 2025 at the time of recording this, and I was accidentally rank 88 and I got a legendary commander sculpture. So the reason that I'm including this event is not so that way you guys can win the #1 top prize here, because it might be a little bit contested, and also this might not be the best place to use things like speed ups, right? But if you can squeeze your way in the top 10 or even in the top 100, you can get anywhere from 1 to 4 legendary commander sculptures, which is pretty nice. And again, every commander sculpture matters. Okay, so if you see that this event is going to end pretty soon and it wouldn't take that much to just get in the top 100, maybe you could do that and squeeze out a free legendary commander sculpture like I did. Now the next event I only want to touch on briefly because it has changed over the years, and most recently has not included any legendary commander sculptures. That is Esmeralda's Prayer. Now when this event first came out, I believe in 2022 or maybe even earlier than that, the prizes were people liked them kind of, but it wasn't that big of a deal, and the developers sought it to be a bit more favorable if they changed what was on this wheel. Most recently, this is a screenshot from 2024, and here you could see that they've replaced the legendary commander sculptures with more material related things, and as far as I remember, I don't think the milestone rewards give you legendary commander sculptures anymore either. You can let me know in the comment section below if that's wrong, but I think this just has cosmetic things like a city skin, a decoration, and I also think there's more of the legendary materials choice chest if I'm not mistaken. Again, let me know in the comment section below if I'm wrong there, but just keep your eye on this event. This might be a place that you can get legendary commander sculptures in the future, although I'd be willing to bet they're probably going to stick more to the material wheel that we've seen more recently. Next up is the Osiris League. Now we are on season 9 of the Osiris League, which means this event has come around more than once a year in Rise of Kingdoms, but I feel like lately it's come around once a year. You can let me know if that's wrong in the comment section below, but there's a couple of different ways you can get legendary commander sculptures from the Osiris League. The first way is by getting Osiris coins. You can do this from either participating in Osiris League battles or Ark of Osiris battles during the league, and as you can see here, you can get your hands on some legendary commander sculptures. Once the qualifiers are over and the actual Osiris League begins, well, first of all, being in the Osiris League, you can get your hands on some sculptures, and participants as well. There's a city skin here as well, which is actually kind of insane. It's not that good, but it looks incredible. As you can imagine, you get a ton of sculptures here as well. There's also individual rewards. These are nothing to do with sculptures, but there's also a league bets event and a Mark of the Champion event. Now Mark of the Champions come in the form of little tokens here, and during the Eye for Talent event, you can spend these tokens on alliances that you think are going to win. Now of course this is a very old screenshot here, but the event still functions the same way. The earlier on in the event that you bet on an alliance, the higher the multiplier for the payout. And so if you're able to accurately predict who the winner is going to be for the entirety of the season, then you can actually get a huge payout in the form of coins here. Usually it's typically pretty clear that at least the top 2 alliances, maybe top 3 alliances that could feasibly win this thing, and so you can spread your coins amongst the top 3 that you think, or maybe the top 2, or just go all in on your favorite alliance that you're rooting for. But there are some number of legendary commander sculptures that you can obtain with the Mark of the Champion currency. On top of that, there is also simply the league betting, and you can bet on every single match. You can use what are called, I believe, Oryx here, and these Oryx can be obtained in free-to-play ways, and you bet on which alliance you think is going to win each individual match. And usually I like to go for the underdog in any given match, and I also want to make sure that the prize pool is really big, right? You want to bet on the underdog with a match that has a huge prize pool, and if you do that enough, there's bound to be an upset somewhere, and that will typically more than pay for all of your losses. And if you get lucky, it happens a few times and you can buy out the entire shop in just 1 or 2 rounds. That's happened to me most of the time, to be honest with you guys. That strategy has worked really well. But as you can see, there are some number of legendary commander sculptures that you can get here. I believe you can get, between this and the Eye for Talent event, I think you can get up to like 12 legendary commander sculptures, something like that. So definitely do your betting when the Osiris League is underway. It should be coming up really soon. Next up is the Silk Road event, and I believe this event comes around once a month. I could be wrong about that. You can let me know in the comment section below. I typically don't perform in this event, and as you can see, there are some legendary commander sculptures you can obtain from the delivery rewards, and I wanted to at least include it here. Even if you only get a couple of sculptures, 1 or 2 sculptures every single time, it comes around every month, then that's, you know, it's a nice little source of sculptures. Next up is good old KVK. Ladies and gentlemen, KVK is a great source of legendary commander sculptures. Not only from the shop itself, you can get 8 legendary commander sculptures for a cheap cost of 5,000 coins each. You can get up to 18 at 10,000 a piece as well. Now, usually I would say probably don't buy these for 10,000 a piece. I feel like there's just other things in here that are more important, but if you're really close to that next expertise and you need it for open field combat, then here you go. Now, the number of sculptures that you can obtain from the event itself really depends on a few things: how much you're participating, how good your alliance and your kingdom is doing, and what is your honor level in KVK. As you can see, I am slacking big time, boys, but wow, even in my alliance I'm number 92. That's crazy. Anyway, enough of that. I think you get 20 sculptures for rank 1 individual honor, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, that's not worth it, but if you save up enough AP, maybe you can make it happen. Of course, there are other ways that you can get legendary commander sculptures in the conquest rewards. As you can see here, if you control the Great Zig at the end of the event and you have 6 million kills, which is like a very low number, then you get 3 sculptures, which is pretty cool. And I'm just going to scroll through here, and there's a couple of different ways that you can get your hands on some legendary commander sculptures, and hopefully by me scrolling through here we can document that together. Glory Days 3, interesting. I have to get my honor up, boys. Oh, I was completely wrong. It's 40 legendary commander sculptures for individual honor. Coalition, you get different rewards depending on your rank here, so that honestly makes some sense. And then there are some legendary commander sculptures in the individual rewards as well. 120,000 honor, you get your hands on 3 sculptures there. You got to get at least 20 million kills here, and 85,000 honor. Here we've got your 30 million kill achievement, which is always, this is what we always go for right here. Here we have 400 bastion quests and 50,000 honor. Here we have 600 bastion quests and 10 million kills, 14 support skills and 10 million kills. And that's actually it for the individual honor. There's other really good goodies here, but that's it for that. Here we have the coalition. If you have 3 million coalition honor and 50,000 individual honor, you get 3 sculptures here. 5 million coalition honor and 20 million kills, you get 3 more sculptures there, and that's it for the sculptures there. And then for camp, there are none as well. And then there's also the past glory event. Now this comes around at the beginning of KVK, and you can donate a bunch of your old green, blue, and purple commander sculptures to get your hands on, I believe, a maximum of 20 legendary commander sculptures from stage 3 heroism. So there's tons of different ways to get your hands on legendary commander sculptures here every single time KVK comes around, and honestly, that's like not even the most impressive reward you get for KVK. So always make sure that you can participate as much as possible. Next up is the Wheel of Fortune. Now this event is one of the oldest events in Rise of Kingdoms and is one of the most reliable ways to get your hands on some of the best legendary commanders in the game, and I wanted to include it in this video obviously because this is where you're going to be getting a lot of your legendary commander sculptures from, but also they just changed the Wheel of Fortune for the first time in literally years. Now once you reach Season of Conquest, you can actually switch the commander that is on the wheel to another commander of a particular type. So as you can see here, this is the Cavalry Wheel of Fortune, and I'm going to be grabbing Takeda, and the wheel no longer requires gems directly. Now you actually spin the wheel with tickets, and these tickets can be purchased from the shop for the exact same number of gems as the spins used to cost. So really there's not much of a change here other than now you can buy tickets if you'd like to, but just for the video, let's see if we can spin this and get, okay, we got a single sculpture there. Let's go into the shop and buy the 400 gem half off spin. Let's go ahead and get our half off spin. Let's see how many sculptures we get here. And okay, so I've at least proved my point. Okay, I got 2 legendary commander sculptures for 400 gems. That's 200 gems per legendary commander sculpture. That's insane value. That's way better value than you're normally going to get. On average, the value here is about 750 gems per legendary commander sculpture. Now keep in mind, that's not a rule. This is still a game of chance, and so your mileage may vary in terms of value, but nonetheless I still wanted to include this because this is a great source of legendary commander sculptures. And even if you can only spin it 10 times, and remember you can get there with 3 free spins, 3 50% off spins as well, 10 spins is 5 guaranteed legendary sculptures. So as long as there's a commander here that you care about, like King Arthur or Huo or Joan or maybe even Nevsky and William, this is going to be a great source of legendary commander sculptures without having to spend too many gems. And along with the Wheel of Fortune comes the Mightiest Governor event. This event comes around every other week, and you can get upwards of 180 legendary commander sculptures for the commander of your choosing. The commanders from the Mightiest Governor event are typically a bit more geared towards rally and garrison, so a lot of players maybe don't even need a lot of the commanders that show up in the Mightiest Governor event, but I did want to at least mention it here because just like the Lord of War, Game of Power, Now or Never, just like those events, if you're able to squeeze yourself in the top 50, you're able to get your hands on 1 legendary commander sculpture, and if you're able to get into the top 45, it's 2, and top 35 is 3. And so you can easily see how, okay, well, top 25, what even is 25th in my kingdom right now? 2.4 million points, and this is an uncapped Mightiest Governor because it's a KVK. My point is, there's a good chance you'll be able to scalp a couple of sculptures here and there from every Mightiest Governor, and as long as it's a commander that you care about, it might be worth it. Next, we have to talk about the Legendary Tavern. Now the Legendary Tavern again uses sovereign keys, which we've talked about before, but this chest has never been better because you can get commanders like Ragnar Prime, Liu Che, Gorgo, Justinian, Huo, Zhuge Liang. Some of the best commanders in the game are in the Legendary Tavern, and if you open 200 of them, you are guaranteed to get your hands on 10 sculptures of any commander of your choosing. You get to unlock 1 of these every day for free, so this will be a nice source of some legendary commander sculptures, and at the very least you're going to get 10 sculptures for free every 200 days. You'd have to be like the least lucky person in the world though to not get a single sculpture in 200 opens. Also, it's worth noting, if you do summon a commander that you already have, you get 50 coins here, and for 100 coins you get to get a legendary commander sculpture. So basically every 2 sculptures you get of an expertise commander equals 1 universal, and if you get a full summon of a legendary commander that you've already expertised, you get 500 coins here, which is really nice, but it's really rare. Next, we also technically have to talk about the golden chest. I know this is technically a source of legendary commander sculptures. None of these commanders are really meta these days, except maybe you can use Mehmed. Mulan is still used in Canyon. Some players might be able to squeeze some use out of Thutmose or Pyrus, maybe Charles Martel for cheeseburgering, or maybe even Garrison depending on the situation, but I wanted to at least mention it here. You get the free gold chest every 24 hours. You might get your hands on some legendary commander sculptures that you might care a little bit about, which is kind of cool. I also want to talk about the VIP shop. I briefly mentioned this before, but this is another source of legendary commander sculptures. Again, this is not great value. 2,000 gems per is very, very bad value, but if you're like you know, 2 sculptures away from the expertise and kvk fighting is tomorrow, then like, okay, maybe you'll spend 4,000 gems just to have that expertise Liu Che on the field or something like that. Next we have to talk about the Alliance mobilization event. This event comes around, I believe, once every single month, and if your alliance performs really well here, then you can get up to level 18, and every single square that you see a question mark head, this is a pick one for a legendary commander. Now you do have to have that commander summoned to get the sculptures here, but there are, it looks like, 4 different chances to get some legendary commander sculptures from the Alliance mobilization event. Shout out to the King's Codex Discord for this long elongated screenshot of compiling all the levels. I'm trying to remember the exact number of legendary commander sculptures you can possibly get from this if you pick them on level 10, 12, 15 and 18. I have it written down as 6, but I'm pretty sure it's more than that. I think it's like 9 or 10 maybe. You can let me know in the comment section below the exact number, but the point is that every month this event will come around, perform as best as you can, and you have a chance at getting some legendary commander sculpture. Next I want to talk about an event that is, again, extremely rare, and I'm pretty sure it's like once a year. This is called the Team Draw event, and I think the last time we had it, this was I think this was a spring themed event, but basically you get to spend a certain number of draw tickets and then you go sort of make your pulls with a few other players, and you get to see what all the other players obtain from this event, and you can choose a few different commanders from different tiers, and it will basically, well, you can get commander sculptures from this event as well. This is, again, very rare. You're not going to get that many sculptures from it, but I wanted to at least mention it here to be as thorough as possible. And last but certainly not least, I wanted to at least mention the commander swap event. Now this event comes around once per account. If you've never seen this event before and you're a brand new player, it's going to come at the end of kvk2. If you are an older player returning to the game, then check the top of your screen. It's probably a bubble up on the very top. It's a limited time thing. I think it's 5 days long. And basically, while this event technically doesn't get you any legendary commander sculptures, it does let you swap legendary commander sculptures of a commander that you may not care about at all for a commander that you may care a ton about. Okay, so in a way, I would say swapping your gold key commander legendary commander sculptures for meta end game season of conquest commanders is in a way the same thing as getting legendary commander sculptures, because you go from virtually 0 value to some value. And I'm not saying Charles Martel specifically has no value, but I'm saying, like, let's say you swap your Julius Caesar sculptures for like a Zhuge Liang or a Liu Che or something like that, King Arthur, right? Basically 0 value in the Caesar sculptures, full value in the Arthur sculptures. So in that way, I would say this is kind of like getting legendary commander sculptures. Now here we have the number of tickets that it will cost to swap your commander, depending on what it is you're starting with and what it is that you're going to. So if you want to swap a fully expertise legendary commander for a commander that you have merely unlocked level 1, no skills unlocked besides the active, it's going to cost 120 tickets. That's not really worth it. Okay, what you typically want to do is, at the very least, you want to get the commander to 4 stars, unlock all the skills, and then put 1 additional skill point into that active skill, and then you can swap that to a fully expertise or with a fully expertise commander for 72 tickets, which is pretty good. You could also do a 5-1-1-1 commander swapped for an expertise, and that will be 36 tickets, or you can swap a 5-5-1-1 to a fully expertise for 12 tickets. So a lot of times what players will do is they will actually spend some number of sculptures into the commander that they do want to reduce the number of tickets that it costs, because you can only get 120 tickets as free to play. And just for the record, each ticket costs 100 gems, so you can factor that in and try and balance out how many sculptures you have to work with and how many gems you have to work with, and see what will get you the best value during this event. Okay, with that being said, that is every event that I can think of that gives legendary commander sculptures without just literally buying them. Now of course there's recharge rewards that comes around, there's the daily special offer, there's the commander recharge event that comes around every month, there's the bounty of the ancients that comes around with every beginning of kvk. There's plenty of ways to get a lot of value buying legendary commander sculptures, and if you want a separate guide for that, let me know in the comment section below. below. But this video was me just trying to rack my brain and go back through past content and see all the different events that give some number of legendary commander sculptures, and I want to share all of them with you all at once, so that way you guys know where to look and what to keep your eyes out for, so that way when these events come around you can get the most amount of value out of them, so that way you guys can start to save up for your next big legendary commander investment in Rise of Kingdoms, or just save up for a commander that's not even in the game yet. With that being said, this video was way longer than I thought it would be, and it took a lot of time and effort. So if you found this video useful or informative, please drop a thumbs up down below. It really helps out the channel a ton. I'm looking at the filming timer. It's 1 hour and 55 minutes I've been recording. Of course, I'm going to cut a ton of that stuff out, so this video is going to be shorter than that, but just so you guys have an idea of how long it takes to make a video like this, and that's not even including gathering information. But anyway, if you appreciate that, go ahead and subscribe down below and click the bell to be notified the next time I upload a Rise of Kingdoms video. And again, if you have any corrections about any of this stuff, I'm not perfect, and there's so many events to keep track of in Rise of Kingdoms, and they're always changing. So if anything here has been tweaked, changed, is wrong, if any of these events are no longer in the game, let me know in the comments section below. It's really going to help out not only myself but anyone else watching. So please comment down below any corrections, any events that I might have missed. Let me know down there. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I will talk to you guys again soon. Peace. I swear, as soon as I hit play, someone in this building started throwing a bowling ball around, and I don't what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? Let's grab this 3600. Ooh, okay, that was good. Let's go, baby. I got the 8 spot. Yeah.